Mr. Michael Kayode is a product manager from an MBA from Lagos Business School. He leads and deals a leading school management system with a growing user base of over 1,000 users as of 2026. Mr. Michael builds AI-powered solutions and has trained hundreds of product managers across Africa through Product Dive, Decision Spark, Decision Spark Technologies, and Upskill program at Zapic Technologies. He helps organizations drive transformation, foster growth, and create sustainable impact through strategic planning and innovative solutions. With experience in project management, product development, and leadership, Mr. Michael specializes in designing systems that optimize workflow, enhance collaboration, and deliver measurable results. His strength lies in turning insight into action, leading cross-functional teams, executing community-driven initiatives, and managing projects that align with long-term goals. From product launch to community programs, he thrives in spaces that require strategic thinking, adaptability, and a solution-oriented mindset. Beyond professional projects, Mr. Michael is dedicated to empowering young adults through mentorship, blogging, and public speaking, and excel at hosting impactful events that foster engagement and growth. Now, it's a pleasure to connect Mr. Michael Olusegun Kayode. Thank you, sir.
All right. Good evening. Good evening, Olamide but I just realized that I'm not allowed to turn on my video, but that's okay. Good evening, everybody. Right. So firstly, thank you very much for the introductions. I almost felt like you were introducing someone else. But then again, thank you. Thank you. I'm really, really glad. I think I will just have to make do with thank you. Good evening, Michael. All right, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think I have a namesake here, to be loved Michael. Okay, so can you see me?
Yes, sir, we can. We can see
All
you.
right. Thank you very much. Firstly, I'm very grateful. Thank you, Olamilekan. I got the emails. I responded to the ones I could respond to. Oh yeah,
Thank you, sir.
and I think the last ones I didn't. I just responded to my calendar, right? And in a way, I think it kind of even captures part of the conversation for today, automation. And I feel like the moment you say that, I've already clicked on yes and it's added to my calendar. You know that oh, you got the email. So, firstly, I also would like to say a very big thank you to Mr. Tope. Mr. Tope is my big brother. He is a mentor. I mean, I've had times where I needed to make decisions in the product space. Should I do this or should I do that? And it's like, Michael, this is what I think you should do. Michael, I think I want this. Michael, I think you don't see yourself as much as you should, right? So, any conversation that we're going to be having today, right? I'm going to acknowledge him, right? Because I'm not. I don't think I'll call myself an OG as it were, right? But when we're speaking at the beginning of the year, he was like, ah, I was saying like, I'm just a year in PM. I like, that it does not look like that. It looks like you've been like in this same thing for like 5 years. And well, thank you very much. I'm very, very, very grateful. And everyone on the call, thank you for your time. Thank you for being in this conversation. You see, I appreciate everyone. Yeah, let me put it that way. You know, it's very important that we understand what conversations to be part of. I understand that we have PMs here, we have developers, we have designers, we have people that are on their road to being tech bros and tech sis, if there's anything like that, right? And it's very important that you are well informed in whatever you do. One of the things that I also learned with startup is being part of a community, and I strongly believe that the Nexa community, sorry, the Nexa DC community is one strong community that you should be a part of. Yes, and I mean that with no flattery, because it helps you find your base, helps you know what you need to do per time. So I'm not going to be doing too much of talking now. I think I should just go into the conversation for today because I we have like very limited time. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. Right, I have a few things to share. Just bear with me, okay? And I trust that we will have a great time. Please, Alaikum, please let me know if my screen is sharing properly.
Okay, it's not now. This is not reflected.
So can you see my screen now?
Not yet, sir.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should give it a few seconds. How about now?
Good. Let me check.
Can anyone at all see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Toby Loba Michael can see my screen. Hi, Toby. It's nice to have you on the call. So, Mr. Tope, I have to be very frank. When I saw the team, I was like, his name is long. AI, creativity, digital skills, right? Automating work, maximizing human potential. And yeah, so basically, we're going to be our conversation today is around how artificial intelligence is reshaping creativity, productivity, and human value in the digital economy as of 2026. Now, I have to, this thing you say where you are all protocols duly observed, right? So I had to do that with having this as my first slide because for the second slide, I want us to maybe play a little bit, maybe not play exactly, but I just want to hear from you. I want to know what's in your mind or what's on your mind. Sorry, I shared a link earlier on. Please, could you help us drop the link on the chat section so that we could all click on it? So it's going to look something like this. All right, I want to hear from you. And so please kindly help me share that. Have you been able to share it?
Okay, we'll do that now, sir.
Yes. If you need the link again, I can just quickly copy and just paste it, if that's fine. So I'm a little concerned. I just want to know what's on your mind, because everybody here knows about this subject. So it's not like we're just, talking about it or hearing it for the first time. I think since 2020, this 2020 now. Before then, it's been, a conversation, but I mean, post-COVID, it's been something that's gained more attention as there's been a lot more, need for this because a lot changed. Work has changed. And I think this is a phrase many of us must have heard already, that work has changed. And it's very important that you understand what work is changing into, because where you work as an individual, maybe you're a freelancer on a project, as the case may be, you realize that a lot is not the same way it was before. Even right where I work, a lot has changed in the from last year into this year, and that's why we're having this kind of conversation, as a preamble into the main cost or the main boot camp that we have. So I'm just here to talk about the what's and the whys. I'm not here to show you how. That's why you have the webinar. So you have the boot camp. All right. So I was hoping that I'll begin to see responses, but it seems as though many of us have not clicked on the link yet. In one word, what comes to mind when you think of AI and creativity? So if we're not getting the link, maybe we should just do it manually, right? And by the way, AI helped me with this, right? I just very few minutes into this class, I just feel like I should just have a moment to hear from everyone, and I just asked it to do this for me. We're still having no response. Okay, work precision, accuracy, subject oriented. Okay, I'm eager to hear more from you. Yes, so one of three responded. Okay, this to work with precision, awesome. Accuracy, great, because I mean, it helps a lot with, data analysis. So yeah, more like probability than just assumption. So yeah, okay, I think that's all we've had. Could we have like maybe two more responses or three? Okay, speed. Finally, somebody is saying my mind. Speed. Great, great. What other word comes to mind, or what comes to mind, yeah, in one word, when you think of AI and creativity? And it's not just AI, we are creatives here, right? We have designers here, and all of that. I mean, even a program manager, you are a creative because, man, you do thinking, right? So that's part of it. Okay, maybe just one more response, then and I think we just go to the second question and we'll be out of here and back to our slides. Okay, I'm saying 2 of 5 responded. Seems as though many persons are already with us, but their responses are yet to come in. Maybe it's the network. Okay, cash. I don't know if this is cash like cash or cash like the obvious cash you can see here, but that's fine. Let's just move to the next. So, how do you think AI could impact your work or creativity? Right. Can I just see maybe one or two here so that we don't spend so much of our time here because we have a lot of things to talk about this evening. How do you think AI could? This is more like a thought-provoking question, right? How could it impact your work, right? Or creativity? Okay, no responses yet. Okay, I think someone's hand is up. Let's quickly check there. Amos, yes, please, can you speak?
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you for organizing this
Okay,
program and all. I really appreciate
so
it. So I,
thank
for
you to
one, as
Nexa.
a product designer, I think I just got certificate actually. So I looking at the current flow and current advancements we are right now, looking at the role of AI. I think as a designer, AI can really help me reduce the amount of work I'm going to do when I want to design. For example, I need to plan, I want to make research. I can easily put my question down to AI to help me narrow down what I need to ask, how to ask my questions, instead of having to run my brain, run my mind, and look at, okay, I need to present with that. It actually helped me ease down on doing some research. And I think during one of the projects I did recently, I first I used AI on Figma, for example. I used AI on Figma to build the replica we have for to see how it's going to function, how they remove it from it. And I saw the result that it's actually very, very useful. In building the app, narrow down some of the things that by the time I actually show it to some people, a lot of people are this is very good, this is very good. It's actually it meets expectations of people I actually had in mind. So they actually narrow down the amount of
Right.
work I have to do. So that's my side to it.
Thank you very much, Amos Olalekun. I mean, thank you for speaking up, and that was also really interesting hearing from you. And although the network was a little bit, I think it was breaking, but I heard something about reducing amount of, and I think we all can probably be able to relate to that. Thank you once again. So someone here says AI is like a catalyst, speeds everything up. So let's just continue with what we have for our conversation. So very quickly, why this conversation matters, right? Like I said earlier on at the beginning of my presentation, AI, with the advent of AI, work has changed, right? So it's not something that it's coming to be, it's something that it's already in existence, right? And it's important that we take AI as a productivity partner because for so many, it's more like something just depend on, get the work done, and we'll get to that part. And I strongly believe that's why the aspect of creativity comes to play. And just like I mentioned earlier on, creativity is not limited to designers. Everyone can be a creative. Everyone should be a creative. You see, in Genesis chapter 1, we see how that the Lord created and then He created man, right? And obviously, one thing that we learned from that basically is that we all have the abilities to create if we're made in the likeness of the Creator. So whether you are a content creator, you are a chef, you are a product manager, you are a pastor, whatever you are created, right? So AI should come to work with you and not take over everything that you're doing. And that's why the idea of AI even taking jobs should not even be a concern for you in the first place. It's basically learning, and that's why you're here this evening, all right? And basically, conversation will be tilted into our thinking process. A lot is going to be addressed as it has to do with our mind more than the technicalities. Like I said, the boot camp is going to address the aspect of the technicalities. I'm here to talk about the what and the whys. Okay, so understanding AI in digital work, basically, we understand that AI refers to systems. Whatever system works for you, right? It helps you to automate tasks, right? In learning, reasoning, pattern recognition, content generation, all right? embedding it in your writing tools, in design platforms. We have so many of those. I have a slide that covers a lot of these examples. And we all know that the core value of this lies in speed and scalability. You can do so much now, right? I mean, you can literally design a website on a sitting. Something is not going the way it should be. You can copy your code, give it to AI, and AI, oh, what does fall for mean here? And it's giving you interpretation of what that is. Contrary to when you have to start going and start debugging manually, right? I work with a developer, right? And I think we should actually, speak freely and be able to relate. And initially, he was more like, AI, like, well, you guys are using AI to do this. He didn't like the idea, right? He just felt like we're cutting corners. And I understand how for some that can be, the case. But it just took a while, for us to convince when, the time is spent on so many things was beginning to get too long. And then, we that were not even, I mean, I, for one, I'm not a developer, right? I write code. And then I'm bringing up bringing out things, even my boss bringing out things in a very short time. Later on, I realized that he was already doing the same thing, right? And now I love the fact that he still appreciated, his work, which every one of us should, right? However, he understood that this thing is a matter of time. It's not coming. It's not something that, okay, after a while it's going to fade away. It has come to stay, right? So it's something that you now need to find the way to integrate with your own work, because the way I'm going to use it is most likely going to be different from how you are going to use it for your work. All right. So um, AI and creativity speaks of how it improves, or more like a conversation that we are having, right? Okay, where does AI stay, or where's the boundary, and where does creativity come in? What does this have to do with each other? How do we draw the lines here? All right, now we all know, of course, that AI adds value, and in terms of execution bottlenecks, those things that could be a limiting factor. AI helps you do those things very fast, right? However, AI does not originate meaning, right? I intentionally put some words in bold because I want us to pay attention to them. Meaning, again, is what makes humans. We understand the whys. You understand, right? AI is more like something that listens and would act on what it's told. It does not understand meaning. It doesn't even understand the meaning. And that's why we have things like guardrails that helps you to be able to put, okay, what do I need this thing to do? Right? So creativity still begins with the human intent. So that idea you have, you see trash on the road, oh, you want to create something around that. Oh, you see the delivery system in maybe your locality. I can want I'm in Akura, and I feel like, oh, we can have better, systems for delivery and all of the dispatch riders, and find a way around it, because we have, pain points around that in the state. All right. So everything still comes from you as an artist. Everything still comes from the mind at the organization. Oh, there's something that we could do better here. I remember when I came in and I was like, oh, we could do some things around project management, because I came from project management into program management, and I was looking at ways to automate, tasks and put some things on shit. And initially it was looking like it was going on here, but how that was able to come in, everything still came from me as a human being, right? So I'm trying to mention the aspect of creativity, how everything still comes from human intent. All right. The strongest outcomes, the strongest creative outcomes emerge when human direct AI rather than defer to it. Deferring to it is literally leaving it to do the work. And that's why I say here that in actual sense, the output from AI becomes the input for human. I'm going to say that again. The output for AI becomes the input for human. So everything you're going to be doing in the coming weeks, from the boot camp, after the boot camp, you need to understand that everything you'll be doing with the models that will be shared with you, with the tools that will be shared with you, is not to make you become a lazy developer or a lazy designer or a lazy PM or whatever skill set you have here on this call, right? Is that it helps you to be able to fine tune. Oh, I have an idea. Can you work on this very fast? It helps you to bring something up very quickly. At times where I need to show something to a client and I don't have the time. I mean, normally manually, it's going to take a while for the design to work on something, and then the developer to not be able to build that interface. Oh, see what we've done so far. But I can easily vibe code and just show. So he has an idea. Oh, this is great. I can see pictures. I can even easily make corrections, which helps iteration very fast. All right. So it didn't become the solution. It didn't take over what was meant to be done. It literally just gave me more like something I would call the input as a way. All right. So as we dive in, we'll understand more on this. So enhancing versus reducing creativity. Right, you would realize that there's a lot of conversation around creativity in this call today. Right now, there's a distinction between AI as a collaborator or a replacement. And we need to be very frank with ourselves because I'm literally, uh, we can literally find like, I mean, if at today's survey, we'll find a lot of people that even basic things today, you want to refer to AI. 1 + 1, you're on ChatGPT. Like, bro, come on. That's something that's still very simple. And some basic things that you can still do as a human, right? And there's what we call skill atrophy, more like depletion. And in a matter of time, we're going to have those kind of employees in organization, and just going to take a little bit of time, and then they would lose their jobs, which means that they're literally relying on AI for everything. And what do I mean? Every task, you can't be able to do anything independently. And you know when it's going to be a trouble when you are on the spot and you need to respond in a presentation or before, say someone is about to invest and you're pitching, and you probably, maybe just like myself, I use AI for my slides, right? And then I did some final work. That's why I can speak to it, right? You will need to speak to your results. You need to interpret data. So while it may help you with the time and all of those things, how did you do the interpretation? And that's why I write here that it still entirely depends on the mindset of the user. And I think that's something I've been asked to come speak to here, to your minds, how you work with these tools. There are so many tools. There are so many tools out there, but how do you use these tools? It becomes an enhancer when it's a collaborator, when it expands your idea, when you ideate and then you drop it on it and then it just does the work for you. Or you want to do a quick research. I did a research and it even exposed me to, African standpoint currently as it has to do with AI. But then when I realized that that's not the sense of our conversation, I removed that entirely from this presentation as it were. A lot of things that you get to see, a lot of things is brought out for you. But the question now is, can you now be able to sit and read it so that you can be able to talk to it when you're asked questions on the numbers they are talking about? Right. So it's a reducer when you depend on it for thinking rather than exploration. It's supposed to be like Alice in Wonderland or Temple Run. So you enter there and you're just literally walking around. But I can tell you, oh, I had left turn, right turn. I found this treasure under the bridge and all of those things. The ability to speak to you so that you don't fall into this place where everything now becomes generic. The things you do, how you do it. And everybody can almost predict the next thing that Michael is going to see. But there's not my Michael, another Michael on the call, right? So it should be an enhancer. So now to automation and productivity. Why the conversation on automation and productivity? When you automate, basically, it helps you to do so much faster. So one thing AI has done for us is that AI takes care of so much as it has to do with automation, right? Once you told it what to do, what it needs to do, and it helps you spend more time thinking. Because right now, basically, who are the managers, or what makes the managers in your company the managers is that they spend time thinking. So if you're going to be that guy in the C-suite someday, maybe tomorrow or even this evening, you are going to be that guy that has a lot of time to think, a lot of time to ideate, a lot of time to plan, and you are doing a lot in your head, right? So AI comes to take the time of those things that ordinarily would do manually. So it saves you so much time. And I wrote here, you can do more. You can literally do more. All right, so email drafting, data analysis, reporting, scheduling. The things I use here are not fake. I use them personally, and it helps me do so much in a very short time. I already spoke about interpreting results, right? And I said make judgments and connect outputs. You see, don't mind the eye emoji here, basically. And just try looking at it like, can you see the importance of not just depending, but rather collaborating on these tools that you're going to be exposed to in the next couple of weeks of your bootcamp? Right. So when the outputs come, can you connect them? Right. You've spoken to whatever tool you're using, and you're trying to connect these things. Now you are the developer. You still need the basic understanding of development because you need to connect the dots. And after doing so much, and then I'm trying to connect my GitHub to, my tool with the GitHub. I'm like, okay, Michael, this thing is looking like, okay, know your language, right? And then my guy just does everything there. Right, but basically, I understand what I'm doing to the point I need to do. My concern is, what do my user needs? What do the people need? Right, so I can be able to tell when this thing is going out of scope, and I tell it through prompt engineering. Obviously, I think there's a part that speaks to that later. Right, I mean that's even a course on its own. I know what to tell it to do for the result that I need it to do for me. All right, but at the end of the day, I make the judgment. I connect the output. All right, so this shifts efforts to high value thinking. When you have a lot of these things, already automated, your calendar, yes, it's part of it. Your calendar, your meetings, just, we at the beginning of the meeting, I saw that we had Gemini here. I could take notes, but I mean, I'm not the host, so I could not add it to the call. But I mean, I think my Firefly even joins all my meetings, right, and take my notes. So when after the meeting, I can go back to them, and it helps me to be able to catch up on maybe some points I probably didn't even pick, or that maybe a host mentioned and I was not able to pick. All right, so at the end of the day, I know what to do with it. It helps me to focus on high value thinking rather than focusing on the things that, like efforts and all of those things. So that's why my next slide focuses a lot on human judgment, ethical reasoning. A lot of verses are out there, and you should know when these are the things I should not put in my product. You're doing a product for maybe a religious body, right? What are the things that should not be there? So you are the one that is here to speak. That's why, I mean, it's more like limitations, but not really in terms of limitations. Do I want to project them? I want to project them more like human judgment when you're using these tools. You understand the vision. You're the PM, for instance. You know what we need. You know why we need these things and for who these things are needed, right? Emotional intelligence as well, right? Context to things. When it's probably saying certain things and then, oh, this is just too direct. I can't use this text in my application. I need my user to come on, and the first model that they're seeing is something that gives them a soft welcome, right? So I know the thing to change it into, right? Understanding of this, and even working with people, because you will still work with people even when you work with, these tools as well. All right, now let's look at AI as a productivity partner. All right, so maybe before I come into this slide, let me go back to my previous slide. Let's use the chat box, right? Can I just see from everyone here, what tools have you used as an individual, right? Maybe as a designer, as a product manager, as a developer. Can you type in the chat board, in the chat section, what tools you've used? You can just mention the name. You don't need to explain. All right. Okay, I'm not getting any feedback yet. We all use ChatGPT, so okay. Finally, Amos, thank you very much. So Amos Olale consists ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Elementor Pro. Yes. Thank you, Adeyemi Emmanuel. Grok. Okay. Our host uses Grok. Nano Banana. I was trying to use this Nano Banana one time and someone was annoying me. I just left it like, guy, what's going on? Okay. It seems some of you are forgetting Grammarly is also an AI tool, right? Of course, I mean, maybe if you don't do a lot of documentation, but for someone like me that I do a lot of documentation and email writing, right, it helps with pointing out things here and there. So thank you very much for those of us that responded. So I think I'll just go to my next slide then. So I won't sit too much here because there are quite a lot here, but maybe we'll spend a bit of time here now. Automating repetitive tasks with RPA. RPA is robotic process automation and script, right? So use Zapier, Make, Google App Script, or Python for data entry and syncs. This is English language, right? So I'm going to be more relatable because we had this program we did, or we're actually still doing, right? I think it was right in my bio, right? Upskill with Zapier. And basically, right, we had to automate a lot of processes. So from the application to the onboarding process, to the linking them to the group where they're going to be, to the LMS that are going to work on, to sending emails to all of them with the mailer. Everything was literally automated. So we could just literally monitor the database. And the funny thing is, we even built this ourselves. Do you understand? Now, that's something that someone could have done manually. And then you had to do this, and then the next step, but everything was literally in sync. So far you need to click the link to apply. So from that moment, so all the other journeys that will be taken to when we have them on board, everything, even to payments, yes, to payments, to checking out, to those that will skip, everything was literally, and it helped the work of the community managers, and we could track this on the dashboard. So it's how easy it can be, and maybe we shouldn't even like literally be too far. Things like even your Google calendars, add those meetings. Like I believe everyone here got an invite, and maybe some persons don't know that for the yes there was actually you automating that. So you don't have to be looking for the link, later on and the likes. And many organizations, I mean, they're working remotely. So are things that you do, because I mean, I've worked with teams where someone is still asking, where is the link? You also have added this to your calendar. So these things help a lot. All right. Boost creativity. I think was it Adeyemi now or Adeni that I was talking earlier on about? Yeah. So things like Figma AI, right, you can. So these things like this, it's maybe you are in that space where you have ideas in your mind and you don't know where to start from. Now, for designers, it's not like you don't know what you want at the end of the day, right? If you are here, you can literally bear witness to that. How many designers do we have on this call? Can I see maybe a thumbs up? I'm not a designer, right? So, but designers on the call, can I say thumbs up? No designer. Okay, Amos. Okay, Amos Adeni. Thank you very much for the engagements, both of you. Now, it's not like you don't have the concept in mind. It's not like you don't know what you want to do, but you're in that space where you just want to, that eureka moment where you're about to just break out. Where do I start from? So it can just help you idea and give like five different ideas or things, and then okay, this thing resonates. Can you see where human still comes in? Because you understand, so your judgment still comes in. This looks like what our clients want. I don't know if you can relate to that kind of moment, right? Where you are tried and just give me like 5, 10 or so, and then you can be able to tell this is what I need. So it helps you, to speed up your ideation process. Imagine after having to go through all of that, through the boards, through the screens on Figma. It takes a lot of time, right? So this is basically us using this for productivity, improve decision making. Oh, sorry. So yeah, still on ChatGPT, right? I think this is taking us further than we're supposed to be, right? You can use ChatGPT for analysis. I had a lot of that this period. We had to just upload, spreadsheets, and then you did a lot with that. Create reliable prompts and guardrails. You know what guardrails are, basically. So you can even build templates around them, right? So things like we have for Canva, right? And I've also noticed that they also have even additional add-ons with AI and the likes, right? So embed AI into product workflows, right? I was mentioning Grammarly earlier on, right? So you're making your documents and the likes, it's just there to point out. It's just on the surface. It doesn't surface, like it doesn't pop up when the link is not, like when it's not needed, right? So when you're doing those documentations as PM or for any reason at all, writing an email, Grammarly just pops up there, and then underlines that word. I think everyone actually needs that, to add it, because it's important that you understand basic English, right? Yeah. So it's flag box. You're doing those codes and the likes, and then it just surfaces and makes you realize that, oh, you need to pay attention to this. It's looking like something is missing here, a word or so. Suggest spacing or fixes as a designer, and all of that, right? Measuring impact and iterating quickly, right? Timesheet and all of that. Okay, sorry, my screen is very, very, very responsive. That's why it's moving left and right. Okay, so address ethics and bias proactively, audit models. Right, you yourself can actually even build models like this. Now, there is the part where you can just speak to this tools, and then it can actually give you, but then, at the end of the day, speaking about earlier on about guardrails and like, what you want, so you can actually build a model around it. We needed something for like CSV checker, right? And okay, so I think someone's hand is up. Okay. All right, so we needed to be able to compare CSV file. Now, I don't know if there's even a tool like that, but within the team, we just built something like that. All right, like I said, I'm not here to show you the how. The team will show you a lot of this during the boot camp. And initially, we had used email, more like that should be like the unique identifier. But at some point, email was not what we needed. We needed ID. But the first model we had created was just only working with that. We had to iterate, right? And instantly we gave it, the new prompt, and then added it to the model, and we created more like a space, that allows you to now decide what do you want, unlike the one that was just more like a straightforward model for emails alone. And we gave it, so this time around you now enter it. So the column on this CSV and the column on that CSV that you want to compare together, and just so far it's the same heading, and you just put that heading there and immediately finds it out. And what we're spending time from like the entire morning down to late afternoon, we just tweaked the model that we had before, and it just found out that guy. And like, so this is the guy that we've been looking for, because we've checked like 3 different platforms just to find that missing person, and we found it. And they're like, oh, voila, great. So these are things that helps you. So for you, maybe as a lawyer or you are maybe like a legal person on a product team, even the PM should also have that in mind as well. You can also create audit models, document limits and all of those things that it works with. So when someone is even using that, it guides them, right? And even human reviews, certain times you have to add the human part of it. But as the human, you take the reviews and all of those, right? So start small and scale, right? So but I think when I was writing this, there was something I wanted to write, but the space wasn't enough. So from drafting content as a content creator, from the basic things, right? From ideating on ChatGPT and imagining on Gemini, to even building prototypes on Lovable, bots, AI, and even ChatGPT. I've not tried ChatGPT with maybe because I'm more used to the others, right? But I think I've gotten so used to them. All right. I mean, obviously, you need to adapt and try other things, but if one gives you what you're looking for, maybe, yeah. So I have been able to build prototypes where I was mentioning earlier during the conversation where someone needed to see something more like very soon, like the next call, right? The next meeting, the next day. And I didn't have the time to start calling, oh, developer, do this, designer, do this. It saved me time. And I could easily do that. And having a prototype helps you a lot because it even helps you to communicate faster with your team. Back in the days, we would just take screenshots, from existing platform that has what you want. All right, but now I can easily, instead of just showing it to them and then they still have to be the one thinking, I take those screenshots and give it to these tools and then they do the work. I make the tweaks and I hand it over to them. So the designer already sees something very close to what I need. You understand what I'm saying, right? And also for the developer as well, some codes are already in this at the back end and it just picks it up, from GitHub and then whatever it needs to do and all of those things. So the work is so seamless, and that's why we can do so much more. I mean, your team should be glad when they have you on board. Like, no excuse. I work somewhere where we don't take excuses. Like, you can't say no, this is not possible. It's possible because we have everything needed to get the job done. Okay, so I've spoken a lot about productivity. And calendar, fireflies to your meetings. And there are so many of those tools, right? I believe the ones that are very important to you, we've talked about them in the bootcamp. So product thinking in the AI era, right? We are at the closing moment. So product thinking emphasizes problem definition, user empathy, while AI enables rapid testing loops, right? So this still speaks to you as a human, right? Because you get to do the thinking. Product thinking speaks about defining the problem. What are we doing? What do our users need? You understanding. You don't just go out. I mean, I believe we all understand the basics of building a product or creating a solution, as it were, right? We are building the right product even before building it right. So what's the right product for the people? Because we have it too, we don't just jump and then, create something very fancy. I mean, there's even the business goal part of it, right? Where we need to make money, right? But even before we get to that, is this something people need? Is this meeting, people's problems? Right? What pain point is this addressing? Why do people want this? Right? So that even we ourselves, we even guide the way we use these things when we want to build a solution. And we know for why exactly, the value this will deliver. That's what product thinking is about. Strengthening strategy after, all your conversation, validation, and rapid testing. So you can do quick models for testing, for feedback loops very, very quickly. All right. And then humans remain responsible for defining what success truly means. So while it has done all of that for you, you are the one that will now pick it up. Okay, this then is our inference. This then is what we are going to do. This then is what we are going to, flow or follow through with. All right, I think my time is fast spent. So skills that remain relevant, even with the advent of AI, creativity, right? Critical thinking, communication. And as a developer, don't tell me that communication is important for you. Communication is important for you because sometimes you want to tell the PM something that that you think may work that he's not even seeing, and you may need to find better ways to communicate. And AI will not do that for you. You are the one that understands, right? So either you're going to speak to the AI to get it done, so you can show him or her, or you get to speak, to it and then tell him or her, okay, what you're saying. Communication is very important. I mean, how are you doing today? Hope you slept well. It's still very, very important. Yeah, leadership, adaptability, right? Ethical reasoning. Some things. I mean, we're currently have AI governance and even data governance and even policies around the use of this. Some things are not acceptable in certain countries, and you should know these things before you do, a product around that particular, maybe tool or scope. Emotional intelligence and AI literacy to guide intelligent systems effectively. So these are things that no matter how much AI comes to do a lot of things. Somebody is still going to manage it. Someone is still going to monitor it. Someone is still going to prompt it. All right. And I'll just move quickly to my next slide, which is one of my favorite slides, right? Using AI effectively. So this is a practical framework for integrating AI into your workflow as a developer, as a PM, whatever the case may be. Now, this is more like really using it for like a solution, not just things like maybe automations like a calendar and you know, Grammarly and the likes. So define intent. Remember earlier when I spoke about meaning coming from human. So you are the human. So you define what this thing needs to be done for. Why? Right, and ensure it's clear, define direction. You own the product vision. You know, okay, this, sorry, maybe not everybody, right? Because that's the PM. You know the vision of the product. You know where you want this thing to be. You know where we want this thing to get to. Why we are doing this. So it starts with you, and yeah, it also ends with you. So it starts with you, yes, and then you explore. I was very, very, very intentional when I used the word not conclude. Remember earlier when I said that the output from AI should be your own input. So whatever it has done for you should be more like, hey, you've given this thing research to work on and it's cutting back to you. All right, you know the way you work in companies where as the senior manager, you know, the junior manager goes to do the research and then submits to you with the summary, and then you now use the summary to now work on decisions for the company. Exactly. That's how you use AI for yourself. All right. So you used to explore, try different. There's so many things out there. Notebook LM, Perplexity for research purposes and the likes. All right. And keep the investigation open. Great. And it's very important that you understand prompt engineering here. This is where you need a lot of prompt engineering. So you don't tell it, you know, don't just ask it questions or just say things vaguely. Right, designers, you want to be very specific. Add those hash C23, whatever the things for those colors that you want. Sometimes you need to upload your maybe your brand guide, right? Brand identity document, everything that you need to make it very specific within the scope you need it, your guardrails. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, all right? So that it doesn't go out of the scope. Explore, then you refine. When it's done, you apply human judgment to refine outputs for quality and accuracy. And then you reflect, okay, is it ethical? What's the impact? Does this make sense? Does it look like what we wanted? All right. Sometimes you want to also do quick, like I mentioned earlier on about human reviews, just to hear from a human. Or what do you think? Sometimes you want to add things like disclosure. This was, you know, this is maybe built by an AI or something like that when needed. It's not every time, right? Depending on the purpose of the product. And then adapt, continuously learn and adapt to new AI capabilities and changes. Right, sometimes you need to make tweaks, you need to make changes, right? So while you have a product out there, are there things that, oh, based on users' feedback, they've given you their, oh, this is what we are saying, or this is what we are saying now, can you, you know, improve on this? You iterate, right? And then you improve on it, and you can still do it with the tool as well, all right? Because we know that when we build that prototypes, many times it's not perfect until a user gets to use that your website that you have built that is so fine, whatever it is you've done, until a real user gets to use it. You know, you can't exactly tell how this product is going to work. And that's why we build iteratively, we get first feedback, we have better test teams. And okay, so this is now giving us users, you know, user mind better, and then you iterate, you know, from that. So yeah. I actually intentionally put this mouth emoji or this speaking emoji here because I wanted every one of us to echo it together. So but I don't know if you're probably maybe en route or you're in a place where you can't speak, but then I would just like you to speak. If you can speak to the mic, please speak to the mic because this is where I'm going to put on, put the knob to everything we've been saying today and put it close to it. All right, so if you are with me, can we go together? Yes, 1, 2, go. So we're talking about maximizing human potential, and I just want to read out 3 things I wrote out as my concluding statement. So if you have been able to unmute your mic, so let's go 1 to go. AI is not the end of human value. It is a multiplier for creativity, judgment, and empathy. Right. So secondly, mastery comes from understanding not just how AI works, but how humans work with AI. All right. How humans should work with it. All right. And then finally, AI forces us to be more human. I mean, you're probably wondering how is that? Yes, it is, right? It helps us to be clearer thinkers, right? Because every time you're able to do faster research, quicker, you know, with a broader scope of, you know, resources, so you can be able to quick, you know, able to do very, very quick researches and make decisions and be clear, okay, this is what we want, I did on time. All right, make your decisions better and more intentional creators. Right, so we know the things we want to create for our users, and we create them the way we want them to be for our users. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you. I hope I've been able to say a bit, as to what this boot camp is going to look like. I don't exactly how the boot camp is going to be. I don't know, because I know that one thing is going to be, wow, it's going to be great. I mean, anything that Mr. Topper is in charge of or comes up with is always beautiful, right? But I hope this has been able to stir something in your mind, especially how you now think as it has to do with creativity, as it has to do with productivity, automation, using this, to get jobs done faster, to automate a lot and spend more time on thinking, as a developer, as a designer, or as a product manager, or in any field you find yourself. Thank you very much for this opportunity. That will be all from my end. Thank you, Obadun Olamide. Thank you, Tope. Thank you, Tobiloba Michael. Thank you, Lua Krede. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Thank you so much. And I bet you that was so impactful. That was so impactful. And it gave insight about so many things and so many hidden truths on how AI can, help us to be more effective, creative, and better at what we do. Thank you so much. And I'm sure everyone learned so much. We learned so much, and we know that this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, and this is just part of or little of what we're going to learn at the boot camp that's happening soon. Thank you so much, sir. And I hope you learned something. So, if there's any question, we can ask. If there's any question, so just maybe one person can ask the question, and we are good. So, if you have a question, please raise your hands. If you have a question for Mr. Michael, okay, any question? Okay, okay, no one for now, no one for now. So, any question? How can you hear me? Am I clear enough? Am I audible enough? Can you hear
I
me?
can
Am I
hear
audible
you. I can
enough?
hear you loud and clear. I'm not
Oh,
listening.
okay, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. So, in the absence of questions, um, this webinar we held today is a preparation for something big, and we are planning the next are planning a 5 weeks boot camp for everyone, and this is just an intro to what you're gonna get and what you're gonna gain. To what you're gonna get and what you're gonna gain. So stay prepared, and if you're in our community, stay at alert. The link will be sent to you, the date will be sent to you, and get ready. So just check the chat box. If you have not registered for the bootcamp, check the chat box. You're gonna get the link. You'll register for the bootcamp. It's just 5 weeks, and it's online and physical. Online and physical. The physical is in Akure, and the online is in anywhere you are. Anywhere we're gonna connect you. We're gonna connect you. So if you've not registered, register and join the community and prepare for the bootcamp. Thank you. So I want to say a very big thank you to our CEO and founder of the Nexa, Mr. Tope. Thank you so much for organizing such an inspiring webinar for the young ones to be educated and to be enlightening on their future and how better they can be creative and move so fast in life. Thank you so much. And a big thank you to Mr. Michael. Thank you so much, sir, for this. Thank you so much, sir, because I really learned a lot, took a lot of notes, and I took a lot of notes. I was just focused, focused on it because this stuff is for my benefit and for the benefit of everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We're really grateful. Thank you. And thanks to everyone that joined in. Thank you for joining in. And I hope you learned so much. And I hope you took down notes. And I hope you took down notes. You're gonna go back to them and get those things you've written down, get them to your memory again. Refresh your mind always. Renew your mind with it, refresh your mind with it. And like I said, lastly, check the chat box. If you've not registered for the bootcamp, register for the bootcamp and join the Nexa community. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And make sure we have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamalikum. Thank you. It's okay. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you, sir.